Hello, this is BC3 for Life, or Godlike Regas on YouTube. I will be doing a VOD review of the Clash Tier 1. I thought it didn't do it justice just to post a screenshot, say that I won Clash, so I will be looking at some things from ADC perspective. Alright, so first thing we have to look at is team comps, obviously. I won't go too much into the draft, but in this game we decided to lane swap. Usually Lissandra is our mid laner and Kled is our top laner. But since Kled is really good into Anivia, we decided that we can put him mid instead and we get a really good mid prio. And Lissandra doesn't lose against Malphite, and it's an even lane and Lissandra scales anyway, so it doesn't matter. So let's get into the game. We also decided that we should invade level 1. Because Nautilus Hook is really not a detriment to start and it's a very powerful tool. And if we can get them to start another ability, then it will be great. So we called for going into this bush right here. And I turned on Fog of War for blue side so you can think from our perspective. So we wait for a little bit. See, in this bush there's usually people standing here to cover, so if you come in from the left side, it's harder for them to react. So I think we go about 55 seconds or something. I'm not quite sure. Okay, now we're going. So we walk into the first bush, no one's there. We check this bush as well. And there's no one there, you can see the red pings. And we put a ward here, and we still see nothing. So they definitely know we're here. And now we see the Morgana bind. So bot lane is here, but the Diana is not here. So Diana is probably starting topside. This is where you can split the map. Zac starts on bot side in the enemy jungle. And we can assume that Diana is either starting on our top side, or she is starting on red and then going into our jungle. So now you see Morgana here. And we just want to get into bot lane. So we do a normal leash and then we go into bot lane. The enemy bot lane should already be here, but they are not here. I don't know why. We're just jerking off or something. So we get into lane and somehow we get the push, which should not be allowed. And we, since it's level 1, Morgana started bind, we saw that in jungle, we get to trade with them for free. Because Black Shield is usually a very good tool against Nautilus, but she started bind, obviously she can't use it. So, as a bot laner, you should know that the first wave plus 3 melees and you get level 2. And since Morgana doesn't have Black Shield yet, we can zone them out for now. And we create a slow push. And this is good because Zac is still taking their jungle. If Diana were to contest here, then bot lane can't really follow, because they will lose all these creeps. And it will start a slow push towards us, which means they lose even more creeps. Anivia is currently not under push. Kled is warding out to see if Diana is in our jungle, which, spoiler alert, she is. And Lissandra has pushed in top lane as well, so if we knew Diana was here, we could have collapsed, but we decided not to. We just played safe, because it's gonna be a 3v2 since Zac is over here. So, continuing with the lane, we still make sure that wave is close to their tower, so if they decide to run somewhere, now Zac is obviously out of their jungle, but they can't do anything. And Diana is still on top side. And now we see Diana here. As we see she has red buff and blue buff, and she has 12 CS, which means she has taken their red, our blue, +1. Which most likely means it's Grump or Wolves. Most likely Grump, because it's closer to the enemy jungle. Or it could be Raptors, but I don't think that's a very logical path, since they saw us on the invade, they know that we are probably taking these camps, and she can't really respond. And if we check Boil War, we see that Grump is gone. And wolves are still here. Wolves are a bit risky. If we knew about it, she can be collapsed on. If I were Diana, I would probably take those camps. So back to bot lane. We are making sure that we keep this push. And why is this? Because they can't trade against us ever. And as Kai'Sa Nolus against Morgana, you can't really trade into her because of Black Shield. Unless she has boomer mechanics, which happens. Can't always have the best reaction times. And this way we should probably let them push out, because the lane will be in an awkward state, and Zac is bot side, and Diana is top side. Which we are aware of, because we split the map level 1. So now we let them push. We can fast forward a bit. We let them push here, and now we land a hook. This obviously should not be allowed, but Morgana is late on the shield, and then Zac comes. Since Black Shield is down, it's a free kill. It always helps. Now we wanna hard push this wave and back. Because if we just let this wave be here, it will slow push towards their tower, and when Jix is back, then she gets every farm. Now Morgana holds the wave anyway, but we force her to do that, so Morgana has to stay in lane, she can't reset. And now that Morgana is not gonna reset off, she backs down instead. So we will be 2v1 in this lane for a while, which means we get to zone Jinx off again, and for some reason she pushes the wave out, which is very confusing to me. She should have just frozen it right here. If we go back to check. Let's see. So right here, she just instantly clears the wave for no reason. Now it's gonna push back out to us. If she had kept like 4 caster minions, and she can freeze it there forever. And since Zac is probably gonna reset, and she doesn't know that, but he was mid and he was bot, and then he cleared his bot side camps. It makes a lot of sense that he would reset about now and then go contest his top camps, which means that he will not be bot side, which means we will not set up a 3v1 dive, which is the only threat to dive Jinx. And Diane is probably pathing bot side as well. Let's see. Okay, yeah, she will be pathing there shortly. But now Morgana is back, and we have this neutral wave state again. And as before, if Morgana has boomer mechanics, we can trade, but otherwise it's not really a thing. So we're just farming. And now we have second bot lane. So here, we just need to make Morgana use her Black Shield. Whether it is on Jinx or on herself, and we use CC on the other person afterwards. But Morgana has boomer mechanics and then Malphite TPs. So, how do we respond here? We have Lissandra coming up from base. Malphite also TPing from base. Which means we can respond with TP, which we did. But the fight is over here. And Lissandra TP is here. So it doesn't make quite a lot of sense. But you know, better safe than sorry, right? We're in the finals of Clash. We're kind of playing the safe way. But in reality, Lissandra should just go topside here. Because this wave is pushing against the tower, and she will lose all these creeps. The red creeps will die. So we saw Malphite stay here. He's close to level 6. We didn't exactly know he was close to 6, but when Malphite walks into a bush at level 5, you can assume he's gonna hit 6, so we just back off. And then we see he hits 6 here, and he's not resetting. He's walking towards mid lane. So here we should call out to our mid laner that he's probably coming mid, which we did not, which is kind of a mistake, but we did see him stay, and we called out that he was on Drake. And now we see both Malphite and Morgana right here, and Diana there. Unfortunately, our mid gets ulted by Malphite out of War, which is kind of sad. It was a greedy recall, but it could have went well if we knew that Malphite was coming. And now we saw everyone on the map. They killed mid. Bot was resetting. They also saw that we backed off pretty hard. So there's only one logical conclusion. They should be on Drake. Which our jungler is an actual god that steals the Drake. Props to him. Thank you. And now we have to push this wave, because we kinda killed that cannon too early. So we start a slow push, because there's no reasonable amount of time that we can get this into tower. And Morgana is also staying, so she can catch the wave in case we were hard pushing. A level 5 Kai'Sa Nautilus is not that great wave clear. So instead we decide to take it slow, don't miss any farm, and then we get some pressure. And since Diana is not level 6 yet, actually she is level 6, I didn't realize that at the time. She had 6 off of that camp and she's resetting, alright. Well, I didn't think she was 6, so there is no reason to be worried, I guess. But if Diana was not level 6, this is not a risk. And we get into tower anyway before Jake shows. And then there's a play of the mid lane. Kled and Lissandra kills mid, which is great. So now we have a Kled that is winning mid, and Lissandra has a kill to work with as well. Which means as a bot lane, we just need to stay even. There's no reason to force things in this lane. Now we have Jinx zoned out for creeps again. We assumed Morgana was roaming here, because there was a Herald fight, but you know, if you wanna check back, she was actually in base. She was AFK for like 20 seconds. Look at this. This is great. Anyway. We keep the wave pushing towards us, and since we're 2v1, Jinx can't walk up here. And when Morgana comes, sure, she can walk up, but we still have level 6 on Kai'Sa and Nautilus. So either he hits a hook, or he hooks a black shield and then he can ult the other target. So you gotta be careful of that. So there you see, she uses spell shield. And since Nautilus hook has lower cooldown than black shield, since he is maxing it and Morgana is not, then we actually have pressure here. But if you are a retard like me, then you know, you're not very good at the game and you eat Morgana binds for no reason, and then we lose all the lane pressure we ever could have had. Thankfully Jinx walks up and makes it a somewhat even trade, but Nautilus is 10% HP, and Morgana is almost full, so we can never take an all-in here. However, she decides to be nice to us. Now we have some of her pressure back, unless you do this. You ult into Jinx heal. This is why you should track summoners properly, which we did not do. Remember to put timers in the chat, so you actually know when the enemy has their summoners, and you don't die. This was a horrible death. And you know, my support is not much better. I can't blame him. But because I died earlier, it's kind of sad. Now we lose this wave, and they get a bunch of plates. This is actually really bad. Thankfully, mid is winning out of his mind, and top lane is also doing well. Jungle is about even. We have Zac, is always useful. So we see Jinx recalling on the ward here. So we stop her back. That was a greedy recall, but who wants this push anyway? And then Kled gets a free kill. It's pretty good. now we have pressure bot again because Jinx died. So we can push in this wave and we deny her these creeps. We get the free plates. Now we're basically even in gold again because we have a bunch of farm up on Jinx. And there's a fight in the river, which kind of sucks for us. We don't have Kai's ult. We managed to get Diana somehow. Kled is on his way though. And Kled is really busted at this point. And Malphite TP is behind me. So, I have to respect this TP. I don't have ult, so I can't actually help this. But, since Kled is so strong, he can basically 1v3 here. Like Diana, Anivia and Jinx, it's not a threat. So all I need to do is survive. And Lissandra can TP in as well. So you see, all I'm trying to do here is get Malphite to ult me. Which he eventually does. And Lissandra gets the kill on Jinx. And all I'm doing here is I'm just trying to be relevant. It's not going very well since I'm very low and Anivia deals some damage. We just get out anyway, which is fine. So we have a second engage here. They were overextending, which always helps. But Diana is still on the map. She reset before and now she could be back here. But she was not here in time. Now we see Jinx on bot lane. Morgana is here. Diana is on Drake. Diana is actually a free kill because Anivia and Malphite are dead. There's no way they can save her here. I go out to contest Drake here. Jinx is still stuck on her tower. Either she catches these creeps or she comes to contest. But she's already late to the contest, so I don't know what she's doing. So she goes for the ult on someone, which is blocked by Nolus. It's great. Now we can go back to lane. It makes for kind of an awkward timer here though. Like, I'm out of mana and kind of low HP. I really want to back here, but the wave state is right here. They can easily push it in, maybe take the tower. I decide since the plates are going down anyway, might as well back. I think this is a mistake though. I should probably be staying in lane. Catch these creeps, stop them from taking tower, because their only win condition right now is Jinx getting a bunch of gold. Which we do let them get. It's not very good. You can see here, Jinx is the only one with any sort of resource to carry the game. And now we just give her more resources. And Morgana should be backing her to give Jinx solo gold. But we get to collapse on them. Or at least threaten to collapse. Morgana is staying there for some reason. And then we get to play with them for free. That's great. And this hook, my support actually taught me how he landed this hook. So I'll play it in slow motion here. So since Jinx wants to dodge into minions here, minions is walking towards the lane, but the minions will always be behind Jinx. So if you see her here, Jinx is in front of the minions. She needs to dodge to the right. But the natural idea is to dodge to the left, because that's where your minions are. And he just throws it right at her. And you see this minion behind Jinx? It's walking behind her, which means she is getting hooked anyway. It's actually such a beautiful look. So if you're playing any sort of skill shot support, if they are walking into the minion wave and the minion wave is behind them, the minion wave will always be behind them. It can't walk through them unless they are ghosted, which good luck finding an ADC that runs ghost. And they try to collapse on us here, which does end up working out pretty well. But that is because I make a huge mechanical misplay. So first of all, I told my mid laner I'm saving heal for him, and I healed Nautilus. It's not a great idea. And we saw both Morgana and Diana walk into this bush. And what do? I ward it, I see them, and then I run straight into Diana in melee range, and I get binded and die. actually such a horrible misplay. What I should have done is ward the bush and then walk backwards. Then I will see that they were in the bush. I didn't know they were in the bush, but I saw them walk into it and we didn't see them walking out. So I should be careful, because Diana and Morgana can turn pretty easily on me if I eat some CC, which I ended up doing. I didn't even use flash. So that's what you gotta be wary of, the danger levels that you're in at all points. You see that they walk into the bush, they do have their cooldowns up, which means it is very dangerous. The only thing they were missing were ults. I didn't have my ult either, so I have only flash. So I need to use flash to dodge the most important skill shot, which is the Morgana bind. And I failed to do that, which means I die. And that's the life of being an ADC. You can't always survive everything. And then we have this amazing hook again. Same logic as before. She was in front of the minions. So you aim in front of the minions, and the hitbox will always take Jinx over minions. We get a double kill out of it. Now the game is pretty much wide open. We have lost our bot lane tower. They have lost their top lane tower, and we can start looking for plays on the map. Okay, so now the next objective should be looking for this mid tower. I'm pushing bot lane, which forces someone to respond to me. And we see Diana here. And we saw 3 of them on mid lane before. It's kind of a risky fight, but we decide we want to take it because we have Kai's ult up. So I take the tower, no one is responding still, which means Morgana and Jinx should be on their way here. But somehow they're not. I have no idea where they were. Let's see. Yeah, so Morgana was in base, Malphite also based, and Jinx was running towards bot lane. This is just terrible for them. So now we get mid tower for free because we found those 2 picks. So we're gonna take this mid tower. Next step should be setting up for Drake. Now we're basing in time for Dragon. 50 seconds before is usually a good time. Then you are there when it spawns. And you can set up vision beforehand. And this team fight will make or break the game. If we lose this, they have a chance of getting back in the game, maybe contesting Baron. And if we win the fight, it's basically game over, because we will be on soul point and have a huge gold lead, and Baron is spawning, and we have this insane engage comp, and they have only Morgana for this engage. Let's see how it plays out. So I took red buff, Lissandra is taking blue, and since Lissandra is on blue, we have to wait out of it. We can't contest yet, because we were 5v4. Lissandra has TP though, so we know that if they start Drake, and we see them, we just go on them instantly, with Kled flanking from bot lane, and Lissandra TPing from top. So we just sandwich them pretty much. So Morgana uses Black Shield very preemptively, and we call that Black Shield down. So now Kled is free reign. If his ult hits anyone, they get CC'd, and Lissandra can follow up. He just runs straight at him. It completely misses, but it doesn't really matter, because now we have control over Drake Pit. And critically, Lissandra survives here. If Lissandra had died, then we might be in trouble. She used a stopwatch after the Malphite ult, and Malphite ult only hit her and Kled was in his ult, so he didn't even get affected. This is quite terrible for them. They used their primary engage tool for nothing. Diana goes for the ult, which is also good, but I managed to flash out of the damage. Jinx goes for the rocket on Lissandra, but she has ult as well. And now it's just completely over. And we get the Drake and we get the teamfight. So now the game is basically over, we just have to finish it. So we get the Drake, we reset for Baron. Baron is spawning now. Usually you can't really go for 20-minute Barons, but since we are so far ahead, we can just do it regardless. We set up vision. We see that they're here, so we can't walk up. We need to wait for the entire team to be there. Now that everyone is here, except Zac, we can basically go wherever we want, because we are that strong. So So we go for some vision in their jungle. Nautilus is kind of alone here. This is a big risk. If they were stacking this bush, he could be dead here. But he was not. And we didn't actually sweep out this bush. We were just lucky that they didn't have vision here. But Kled thought we had swiped it out. And he goes for the good old bush camp. So he will see when they come, and he can stall for time. Like, they're not even contesting right now. And Jinx walks up alone, and this is why you don't fix Jinx ADC. It's terrible. So Jinx should have walked up with teammate there. We get Baron at 20 minutes, and the game, if it wasn't already over, it's very over now. So we go for mid lane. We're just free because no one was there. I don't know what the enemy team is doing. And here we make a mistake, actually. We need to get Kled his passive back so he can soak for us. But we killed the minions way too quickly. And now he has to get it on the tower, and he's actually in danger, and he hits a Morgana bind and dies. We also kind of thought we had minions there, not gonna lie. We were kind of griefing it. But then again, so are they. They were saying 2v4, and they get dove. And here when I look at some ADC mechanics. So, at the beginning of this fight, Sexstar's tanking tower, but he instantly drops aggro because it's impassive. And now I am tanking. And this is terrible. I should have walked out of turret range. I did not realize I was tanking until about now. And I eat the last tower shot, and what do I do with this health? I walk into Morgana pool and die. But we get the in regardless. Or do we? I don't actually remember. No, we didn't. Well, that's grief. Sucks. And we reset, and then the next objective is basically just take their base. So we need to look for an engage somehow. Thankfully, Drake is also spawning, which it's kind of easy to contest the Drake when you're up 9k gold. Not gonna lie. We do the usual Drake setup, put some wards in their jungle, sweep it out, you know the deal. And then Malphite, for some reason, Malphite decides that the best idea here is to go for Nautilus. He sees me. And let's put on Red Fog of War. He sees Nautilus up here. I W him as Kaisa. And he goes instantly for Nautilus. Like, I don't know what he's doing. So once again, they used an ult. I'm no longer in any threat in this fight, and we can just go on them. Diana does have ult, but, you know, their backline is really weak. Even though I die here, the enemy backline is just not anywhere to be seen. That's Kled is so strong. Lissandra is also strong. They can basically just kill the enemy backline. It doesn't matter if I die. And this is why it's nice to have a team, I guess. We can get the soul here. Not much to say. The game is perma over. The enemy team goes for Kled in bot lane. It's gonna take them a while to try and kill him. So we decide just go for the mid inhib. I'm alone here. Who can contest me? Like Diana and Jinx. We haven't had vision of Diana, so this is actually kind of risky. She ends up coming out from base. And Jinx is behind me, and we have Lissandra TP. So we decide to take the fight here. Might as well. Kled is dead, but at this point, with the Infernal Soul, we can take a 4v5. If we just land any CC, the target just dies. And as you can see here, Jinx is not having a good time. She's not in range of Morgana, which means she can't get Black Shield. She has a Nautilus ult after her, and Lissandra just engaged. So, if I had noticed and Jinx was in this position, I should just press R instantly as Kaisa. There's no reason for me to hit frontline at this point. But I was too tunnel visioned on killing the Malphite in front of me. And this Jinx just dies, and the fight is over. They have no damage, and Nivea was in base. However, being the greedy people we are, we try to end here. I really thought we could end. Spoiler alert, well, we couldn't. We do get both their towers though. And here, maybe we could just hit, but there's some people in front of me, I don't play very well, and I'm dead. And we're all dead. So, Baron is up in like 1 minute. We can go for Baron. It's not like they can contest us. They have 0 towers. And the Inhib is like 1k HP. See, actually. Yeah, exactly 1k. We go for Baron setup when we live. And this is an awkward part of doing VOD reviews. You see yourself inting and you have nothing to comment on. So we go for Baron. And already here we're calling after Baron, just go mid and Kled ult. We can just run them down. Either we force a fight that's winning because we have Baron and Infernal Soul, or we take their base. It's also fine. And then we have the tanks just going on Jinx here. I should not be ulting this. You wanna know why? You know, there might be some people waiting for me, I'm not gonna lie. But I saw the kill. I wanted to go for it. I should really be following Kled, because I deal the most damage to the Nexus. And thankfully, Kled goes with Lysandra and it's GG. And that is pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you have any feedback, please leave it to me, either on Discord or on YouTube. You know the deal. So, have a nice day.